Hello and welcome to the Rising Generation Leadership Podcast with me, Errol Lawson. If this is your first time joining us, we want to welcome you. It's great to have you with us today. The Rising Generation exists to inspire and equip Christian leaders from all walks of life, from all around the world, to fulfill their God-given potential. By hearing these interviews with established, internationally recognized leaders, we hope you'll be inspired to connect the dots between where you are now and where it is God has called you to be. Now, to receive notifications about future episodes, simply subscribe to our podcast show by either on iTunes if you're on Apple, or on Stitcher, the Stitcher app if you're on Android. You can find out how to do that just by going to our webpage at www.errollawson.com/podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please share it with your friends, share it with your loved ones. Hopefully they will also benefit from the content. Guys, thanks for listening. Before we go into today's show, here's some news for you. Hey guys, how you doing? It's Errol here. Hope you're doing great today. Before we go into our interview today, I want to give you just a bit of a heads up on our Rising Generation campaign that started on the 1st of October. Now, if you're not aware already, we've been doing these interviews now. We've taken some of the nuggets from the interviews and put them into a fantastic book, a resource called The Rising Generation, which is an amazing resource for emerging leaders, established leaders that will help you to step into your biggest challenges and become the leader that God has designed you to be. Now, the way the campaign works is this. Our goal is to get 1,000 pre-orders of the book between now and the end of October, and all the profits from the campaign are going to go towards our work in Africa, in Ghana. We're working with young people and giving them leadership training and soft skills training and even more. And so for the last 15 years, I've been working as a leadership coach, a consultant, working in education and in business. You can check out my website for more information. I'm a John Maxwell trained coach, speaker and trainer. My appeal to you today is this. I want to offer my services to you, to your church, to your business, to your organization, to you as an individual in return for your support for this campaign. Let me give you an example of some of the packages that I'm offering to you. If you were to pre-order 150 copies of the Rising Generation book for your team, for your organization, for your church, or for your business, in return, I would offer you firstly a 90-minute live keynote address on a leadership topic of your choice, along with a Q&A for your organization or team. I'd also offer you a one-day leadership workshop for your team or organization, again on a leadership topic of your choice. And also, in addition to that, give you a free half-day one-to-one or group coaching session, again for yourself as a leader or for your core team or for your wider team on a leadership topic of your choice, all in return for your contribution, which is a $5,000 contribution. You're going to get $8,900 worth of value for your investment, and all the profit goes to the work in Ghana. How awesome is that? And there's similar packages. There's so many offers I've got. Another option is the $1,500 package, which for your $1,500 contribution, you'll get 20 copies of the book for your team or organization. And also a one-day leadership workshop with myself, again for your team, your organization. I'll come in and train your team on a leadership topic of your choice. How amazing is that? So much value. And there are many more offers in line with your budget, what you're able to invest. I want to reach out to you guys. Go and check out the website to make this campaign a success. We really need your support. I'm banking on you. So please share this with your friends and help us to spread the word. We appreciate you. God bless you. Enjoy today's episode. Hello and welcome to the Rising Generation Leadership Podcast with me, Errol Lawson. And my very special guest today is Camilita Nuttal. Described by many as a rock star international speaker, Camilita Nuttal is the Master Motivator, award-winning corporate sales trainer, executive business mentor, entrepreneur, investor, and soon-to-be best-selling author, whose goal is to teach people around the world how to live like a champion. Camilita, thank you for being with us today.
Oh, it's absolutely my pleasure, Errol. My pleasure to be here, sir.
Hey, man, it's great to have you, man. Fill in any gaps, first of all, in your bio right there, Camilita, and then give us a glimpse of what you're up to in the world right now.
Okay, well, just very quickly, I just want to talk a little bit about my journey and my story. And I think because most people remember me because of my story. And I grew up in Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean. I struggled through school. At the age of 13, I had a turning point in my life. I had to decide if I was going to go to school or not. And so my mother and I went on the public dump in Trinidad to hustle bottles just so that we can sell, so that I can attend secondary school. And it was a really challenging time for me, but I wanted to win so bad, I didn't care. And so I studied really hard, did extremely well in school, and I decided to come to England to study law. While in law school, heard about the industry of direct sales, corporate sales, decided, okay, that's what I want to do because I want to help my mother. And I could make a lot of money doing that. So I got into that, built sales teams across the world of thousands. We were doing between $500,000 to $5 million in sales a year. And then I got into the property investing. And then I got into speaking and training and mentoring clients across the world on how to monetize who they are, not where they are. And then I also run the Event of Champions, which I'm kind of like wanting to help other entrepreneurs who are like me when I started, build, sustain, and develop a global brand by seminars and events that we put on across the world. So that's me in a nutshell.
Wow. And how did you know that this was what you were called to do? This whole area of developing people, training people. How did you know that's what you were called to do?
I think from an early age, I was always in front of the class, in front of the school. And I always want to help someone else. When I remember at 13 and a half, a friend of mine was in the same position as I was, and she didn't have books to go to school or uniforms or anything like that in the Caribbean. And I remember saying to my mother, I want to help her, even though I didn't have much, but I want to help her. And I remember getting 2 uniforms to go to school. Wow. And I gave her one of mine. Wow. That was when I was 13 and a half, because somehow I just wanted everybody around me to succeed. And I believe that if they worked harder, they can do it. And today she's a police officer in Trinidad doing extremely well. And we're still best of friends. Awesome. And
along your leadership journey, since you started out on this pathway, has there been like a significant turning point or an epiphany, a revelation? Maybe you're heading in one direction and something happened and caused you to go in a different direction altogether.
You're telling me there's so many. Which one do you want first? Well, I've had loads of turning points. I've had divorce, which was one, which really turned me into the direction where God wanted me to be. That was one. I had lightning come through my house. Wow. And it was as if God was saying to me, okay, you're not listening. Perhaps you're going to listen now. I had a friend of mine that I met in Mexico who was dying from cancer. And she said, you shouldn't live like this. You should do what you're called to do. And a couple of months when I came back to the UK, she died. Wow. And that was a real turning point in my life again. It was like God speaking to me through her, saying, do something now before something else happens. Wow. So I've had a lot of turning points in my life where God was speaking to me about moving into the direction where I am now, which is mentoring and training and teaching clients how to monetize who they are and how to be all of who they are, not trying to be somebody else. And I think also one of the biggest for me is being quoted in Think and Grow Rich for Women. Because I heard Napoleon Hill's grandson quoting and talking about me while I was here in the UK. He was in the US at an event, and I was listening to this thing live, and he was talking about my journey, and he was talking about me. Wow. I thought, I don't know Napoleon Hill's grandson. He said he wanted to leave me with one of the quotes that I would normally say, which is, there is no better time than the present to take action to succeed. And this was quoted in Think and Grow Rich for Women. Wow. And that was another huge turning point, Errol, because it said to me at that point that people were actually listening to what I was saying. And a lot of people don't think that people are watching you or that they are listening to you. That's why you have to always be consistent and always be positive and always be, who you're called to be, because people are watching you and people's lives are being changed or not with what we do.
Awesome. And, obviously been going for a while now. What's been your biggest challenge in your leadership journey so far? Tell us that story.
Oh, wow. I think my biggest challenge is trying to train other leaders. Because it's difficult when you have someone that is very successful, qualified, and have done the millions, and you are now part of working with them. And so, but if you are the leader, they think that perhaps they are a little bit more successful than you. They perhaps shouldn't listen to you. That was the hardest thing for me to do, is to try and not just understand why they would be like that, but try to be me and stand up as a leader, even though they've been more successful, even though they did millions and millions and millions. But I had to stand my ground as a leader. That was like my biggest challenge. How do I stay true to me and not be intimidated by them because they are successfully more successful than I was. That was like my biggest challenge, and it hurt because they would say things or they would do things because they were more successful, and it really hurt. But I stood my ground, and in the end, they came to me and they were really impressed. And now, when I look back at that whole process and the whole journey, today, they are now looking at me traveling the world doing my thing, and they're like, wow, I'm so proud of you. Those same people.
It's great. And what's the lesson there for those listening?
I will say, know who you are. Know who you are. Stand your ground. Stand on what you believe. Stand on your worth. And don't shift, don't change. Despite what people say, despite how they make you feel, despite sometimes your own mind makes you feel less or lower than what and who you are. Don't believe it. Stand on the word. If the word says you can do something, just stand on it. Even if it doesn't happen, you still got to stand on it. You still got to believe, and you got to keep going. You got to keep doing the work. Regardless of what's going on around you, you got to keep doing the activity, keep doing the action, keep believing. You just got to keep and be consistent. The word is committed. It's the death of all other options. Just be committed.
It's great. It's great. It's great. And this far into your journey, how do you now define success on your journey? How do you define success?
Success for me is having a balanced life. Success is not just about money. Success is making sure that you are balanced with your finances, making sure that you are earning enough to look after your family and also earning enough to invest and earning enough to invest from the investments. That's number one. It's also about having a good family life with your spouse or your partner, being able to spend time with your family, being able to spend time with your children if you have, being able to look after your health, because without health, you've got nothing. Also, being into personal development is having your life balanced. For me, that's true success. I wouldn't say that I'm successful if I have money and have no health. I wouldn't say that I'm successful if I have money and I don't have Christ. You know, I don't know how people live without him, but I can't. So being successful is being an all-rounded individual, being able to take the time off for personal development, to learn, grow, and develop into who you are. That for me is true success.
Amen.
Are you seriously fired up about growing as a leader in business or church-based ministry? Are you feeling somewhat frustrated about not having realized your full potential in what you've been called to do? Could you do with someone to help you get some extra clarity or to be a sounding board for your plans and ideas? Great athletes have coaches, so do great leaders. The right leadership coach for you will result in an increased sense of clarity, direction, and purpose, dramatically increasing the results you achieve. If you're ready to step up, contact Errol to book a free, no-obligation, introductory coaching session and see whether Errol is the right coach for you. Errol takes the lessons learned from his own leadership journey and from his extensive research to help leaders and entrepreneurs to step into their biggest challenges and rise to their next level. Email admin@errollawson.com right now to schedule your call.
And John Maxwell said that the secrets of success are hidden in our daily routine. Typically speaking, what does the first 90 minutes of your day look like?
Oh gosh, sometimes some people hate routine, but I love routine because it keeps me grounded. My daily routine, first 90 minutes, I would say the last 90 minutes as well, is getting up and spending time with me. Firstly, spending time with the Lord. Talking to God about my day, committing that day to Him, because I'm not in charge of my life. So like committing that day to God, what should I be doing? Asking the right questions, asking Him for His wisdom, what I should be doing. Thinking about me and what I want to achieve, reviewing my goals. What do I want to do over the next 90 days? And keep reviewing those goals. Keep reviewing what I want to achieve. Reading and empowering my mind, personal development, making sure that comes in all the time. I'm just getting rid of all the negatives, because the negatives will come. It's being able to not address it, when I should say address it, but not live with it and not accept it. But to be able to say, that is not me. This is not what I want. This is what I'm going for, and just to believe that. And also, I spend time in the morning looking at my goals, my desk, because I work from home, so it's easy for me. Looking at my desk, what I want to achieve, looking at all the things that I've done, and saying, well done. You have actually done some stuff this week or today or yesterday. and not beat yourself up because you haven't done everything, but just being grateful for what you have done, and being grateful for what you have achieved, because that propels you to do even more.
It's great. Awesome. And have there been any other key habits that have contributed towards your success?
For me, it's spending time with the Lord, and spending time with personal development. For me, that's the two biggest. Spending time with myself as well. I love spending time with myself. I love myself. So I love spending time with myself. Not just nobody, no husband, no family, no business, no staff, just me. And so I can think, because a lot of us, we're so busy, away from the phone, because social media can kill you, let me tell you. So it's away from the phone, away from social media, just you and nothing. Bliss.
So tell us then, Camilita, what is your biggest weakness as a leader?
For me, it's sometimes stopping, because I love work, and I love to keep going, and I love to inspire and empower people. And I find, and I have to physically take the time to stop. I have to physically put the time in my diary to do things for me. So that's why my diary is so full, because I put times in my diary, which is me time. And I think for me, that is the hardest thing, because I love to work and I love to give back. And sometimes I hate saying no sometimes. So I think that's my biggest weakness as an entrepreneur.
And your biggest strength?
My biggest strength for me is, I love inspiring and empowering people. So I think my biggest strength as an entrepreneur is teaching other entrepreneurs how to monetize who they are, how to really go from 100 grand to $250,000, for $250,000 for 500,000, 500,000 to $1 million. That's my biggest strength. That's what I love doing. Besides, empowering people and encouraging people, that's my biggest strength.
It's good. Have you got a case study that comes to mind?
Oh yeah, in particular, there's a lady in the Bahamas that I worked with, and she was earning six figures, and we talked a lot about what she could be doing. She's a lawyer. She owns her own law firm. And we went to her, we spent, a half an hour with her, looking at her business, looking at what she's doing right and what she's doing wrong. And at that, before we went to her, she was, ready to quit her law practice. She had had enough. She was tired all the time, wasn't hitting her goals. And we went to her, sat with her in half an hour. We show her how to go from 100 grand to $250,000, doing less work, creating more value, having multiple businesses because of the things that she already could do. And then, creating that platform whereby she can have other people and generate more residual income with less time. And so we went to see her after a year, and she had moved into her new office, renting out that office to other people, created another 3 businesses in that same office, working less. And she said, I can actually choose, Camilita, who I want to work with.
It's great. Brilliant. Hear that, guys. This is real. This stuff is happening. What, if anything, was holding you back from going into leadership at the beginning of your leadership journey? What, if anything, was holding you back?
Me, my belief in me, my belief that I could do what I'm doing right now. That was it. It was my belief. It was my belief because of my past. It was my belief because I was a woman, because I was Black, still am. But it was my belief. It was my belief in me. And I had to be around people who believed in me more than I believed in myself. And that was the turning point for me. And when that happened, listen to this, guys. When that happened, my yearly income became my monthly income. I want to encourage you who's listening. If you want to go from your yearly income being your monthly income, get in touch with me. I want to mentor you to make that happen, because I've done it.
It's great. And who have been your most significant mentors? Tell us your top 3 in your journey so far.
My mother. Besides Christ, so I'm going to not say Christ in this one, but my mother in particular. I would say it's Sharon Lecter, who is my current mentor right now, who has really inspired me to build a global brand, which is what I'm doing through the Event of Champions. And I would say all the books that I've read that over the last 10 years. So it's not just one person in particular, from Brian Tracy, and I met Brian Tracy last week, amazing guy, to Bob Berg. I met him also 2 months ago, to Les Brown, to Tony Robbins. I mean, all of those, I would say, combined in one.
That's good. Let me break it down a little bit further with those relationships. Tell me, if you look at each of those, what's the best piece of advice you've gotten from each of those mentors? So your mum first, then Sharon, and then from one of the books that you mentioned, the authors you mentioned.
Yeah, for my mother,
Yeah.
is mind your own business. That's my and I didn't understand why she said that, but I now understand in the context she said it. Not focusing on what's going on around you. Focus on your end result. Focus on your own business. What do you need to achieve? What are you looking at? What are you're focusing on? And she would always say to me, look at this front and look at that one. They've bought X amount of properties. They don't have to work again anymore. That you need to do. So she would always talk about minding my own business. And that has helped me tremendously, and it still is even now. So that's number one.
That's great.
Number two, with regard to Sharon Lecter, she would always say to me, she says it to me even now, she says, Camilita, be you. Be all of you. Stand in your own power. Don't worry about what other people think. God has given you power to create. Stand in your own power and be all of who you are. And that has really been huge for me. And in terms of the other one, all the personal development books and all of that I've read, the one thing there's two things I would say. One, if it is to be, is up to me. And the next one, never accept advice from anyone more messed up than you are.
I like that. I like that. You know, is there, if there were 2 or 3 books you'd recommend to someone listening right now who's an entrepreneur or someone, you know, moving forward in the entrepreneurial journey, what 3 books would you recommend?
Number one, which is like the best personal development book in the world, Think and Grow Rich, but read it again. Even if you have it, do it again and again and again. Because most people miss chapter 1 of Think and Grow Rich. Chapter 1 of Think and Grow Rich is huge because it talks about Napoleon Hill's journey. And it talks about what he did to become rich. And most of us, we read it, but we don't really get it. It talks about the fact that he went around and he learned from all of those other very successful entrepreneurs for 25 years. And most people want to become an overnight success in 10 days. You know, he went along for 25 years learning from those multimillionaires like Andrew Carnegie and all of them to be an overnight success. So that's one huge lesson, in particular from you know that whole process and that whole journey, that I think people should learn. I think that personifies all, really. It's being able to be humble enough to learn from others and being diligent enough to do it over time.
It's good. It's good. Any other books? So Think and Grow Rich.
So Think and Grow Rich, I would recommend. I'd also recommend Money by Tony Robbins. It's very big and it's very long, but he goes in and talking a lot about why people should put aside and make sure they have pensions and make sure they have investments and make sure they're buying into real estate and it's on and on and on and on. It's amazing. It's huge. But it's amazing. It's really good. It's a really good read. And I think the other one that has inspired me is T. Harv Eker's Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. That shifted my mindset because I realized the reason why I was earning $5,000 a month or 5,000 pounds a month or euros or wherever you're calling it from, it is because that was my money blueprint. That's where my mind was. When I shifted my money blueprint, my yearly income became my monthly income.
Right.
That book was really transforming to me. It really shifted my mind. So apart from the Bible, I would say those 3 books really helped me to understand and to really scale who I am.
Brilliant. And what's the one thing you're most fired up about right now, Camilita?
I'm fired up about Event of Champions. The reason why I thought
Tell us all about it and how we can get involved and how people can sign up and what have you.
Do you know, people ask me, Errol, all the time, how did you come up with that name, Event of Champions? And I said, God gave me the name. Because as an entrepreneur, I was frustrated not knowing the legalities behind my business, understanding the accounting. And I'm not just talking about to build a small, probably sole trader business or even, you know, a medium-sized limited company. I was talking about building a 20 to 40 multi-million pound business. I didn't understand, what do I need to have in place to have that, to sustain it, to build it, to make sure the legalities, the trademarks and everything is in place, the marketing, the branding, the sales. I had no clue, but I wanted it. And so when I met with my mentor, Sharon Lecter, and her husband is an IP attorney, very successful, one of the top in the US. I understood across the board of what it takes to build, sustain, and develop a global brand. And so I came up with the idea of Event of Champions to do just that, to bring successful entrepreneurs like Sharon Lecter together with other people to teach what we have done, what I have done in the past to build a multi-million-dollar business in sales. So the Event of Champions is all about people, the entrepreneurs in the room, coming to learn from other successful entrepreneurs, the legalities, the IP, how to raise money, the finances, how to, property, across the board, what it takes for you to build, sustain, and develop a global brand. And this year we have it October 22nd to 23rd in London at the Millennium Gloucester Hotel. It's a buy one, get one free on tickets for the next 10 days. If you want to come along, just go to the website, eventofchampions.com. and book yourself in, and we will see you there. And it's going to be a life-changing opportunity.
Awesome. Brilliant. Hey, listen, guys, get that website again, please. Camilita, one more time, the website.
It's eventofchampions.com.
Awesome. And how do we find out more about you? Are you on social media? Do you have a website?
Oh, I'm everywhere over social media. You can go to Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, YouTube. I'm everywhere on social media. And again, you can go to my website, CamilitaNuttal.com. In the next couple of weeks, it will just be Camilita.com. But again, you can send me an email at info@camilita.com. If you have any questions you'd like to ask me, you want to know more about my mentoring, you want to know about how you can travel with me across the world as I go along building my brand, as I teach you how to build yours as well. Or if you want to be a part of the Event of Champions, just send me an email, info@camilita.com, or go to my website, and I would love to support you on your journey to become a champion.
Awesome. Camilita, thank you so much for your time today. Guys, I hope you've been inspired. I know I've been inspired and lifted by hearing Camilita's passion, and she's as passionate as you're hearing as she is now in public and on stage. Believe me, if you get down to one of her events, get some coaching, some mentoring, you will be lifted, you will be inspired. God bless you. Thank you so much, Camilita. Thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
Thank you again for joining us today on the Rising Generation Leadership Podcast. I pray you've been inspired, you've been lifted, you've been encouraged to take your personal leadership to the next level. We really encourage you guys to just take action, make it happen, do something, start somewhere, go out and change the world in some way, big or small. Guys, if you've enjoyed the podcast today, please share with your friends, share with your loved ones, your colleagues, someone out there you think might benefit from hearing this great content. And if you want some more questions answering, you got a question, email me, Errol@errollawson.com. Or if you want a free 30 to 45 minute coaching session with myself around a leadership challenge or issue you're working on in your business, your church, or in your organization, please feel free to email me right away. We'll get you booked in. It's Errol@errollawson.com. Thank you again for listening. Go to our iTunes page, check it out, check out the previous episodes. Give us a nice review, that would be awesome. Really appreciate if you could do that for us. We really appreciate you just for being here and listening. Thank you so much. God bless you, and we'll see you on the next episode of The Rising Generation.